me being a consumer, I hear organic and I go, well, hell yeah, let's buy that. It's better. That's what I've been told. But is that not necessarily the case?
Well, I'll turn the interview for a second. So what does organic mean to you?
I mean, I guess not using pesticides, not using stuff that's bad for me, growing it is where my
Fair
knowledge
enough.
goes.
Fair enough. Okay. So if a farmer didn't have to use pesticides, wouldn't all farmers not use pesticides? Because it costs money. Why would they use pesticides if they didn't have to?
Uh, Good question, I guess. Good
Right?
point.
So you're growing organic spinach and you don't use pesticides? How do
So,
you keep
okay,
the how do you keep the bugs and the diseases off your organic spinach?
I have no idea.
Well, if you could keep it off by not using pesticides, wouldn't all farmers just not use pesticides?
Right. You would think.
So how do they control the pests? How do they control the insects and the diseases on organic spinach?
I have no idea.
Well, they use organic pesticides.
Oh, well, what does that mean?
Well, they use organic pesticides, like nicotine is an organic pesticide. Well, it's not an organic pesticide, it's an example. Organic pesticides would include things like pyrethrum. Pyrethroid is the synthetic mirror to pyrethrum. Pyrethrum is an organic insecticide. It comes from chrysanthemums. So they pluck the leaves off the chrysanthemums, they crush it, and that yields an insecticide called pyrethrum. Because it's derived from an organic source, organic farmers can spray that organic insecticide on the organic crop and still call it organic because it doesn't use synthetic pyrethroid. Now, paradoxically, pyrethroid, that is the synthetic derivative or cousin to pyrethrum, the organic, is safer for humans than pyrethrum. So the organic form of pyrethrum that the organic farmer is using has two extra esters in it, which is more toxic to the workers on the farm, and pyrethrum is more toxic to the bees and the butterflies than pyrethroid is. So therefore, they're growing their organic spinach and they're controlling the diseases and insects. Otherwise, why wouldn't all farms just not use pesticides? Because you said you buy organic because it means no pesticides. It's not true. You have to control insects and diseases. So diseases like ascochyta, for example, which is a mold on organic grapes. Well, what do they use? They use elemental sulfur, and they use millions of pounds of it. Organic farmers would utilize something called Bordeaux mixture. And Bordeaux mixture is a combination of copper sulfate, which is quite toxic, and slaked lime. So they mix together copper sulfate and lime into a mixture called Bordeaux mixture, and they spray that organic mixture on their organic crops. Well, this was first used and discovered on the roads leading to Paris, where the grape growers sprayed this mixture on the grapes to stop the pedestrians along the roadway from eating their grapes, because people walking to Paris would just eat the grapes of the farmers. So they made up this Bordeaux mixture of copper sulfate and slaked lime and sprayed it on the grapes. And it was a human side, first of all, because it prevented humans from eating the grapes. But then farmers discovered that it was a fungicide. It had fungicidal properties, so it could control white mold and ascochyta in grapes. And it's the number one, or one of the biggest fungicides used in organic production is Bordeaux mixture. It's been around forever. Chrysanthemums or pyrethrum goes back to ancient China. So again, when you say somebody buys organic because it means that they don't use pesticides, then I'd say, why wouldn't all farmers go organic? Because
Yeah, sure.
they have to control the bugs and insects and diseases and weeds that come onto a farm. And another question would be, well, how does an organic farmer control weeds on his farm? Because a conventional farmer will use something called a herbicide that we'll use and spray on literally grams per acre of a very specific compound designed to control the weeds in the crop. So I would ask you, how does a organic farmer control weeds?
They must use something.
They do. They till. They till the land. So they use a lot of tillage. So where a conventional farmer that practices no-till using genetically engineered crops would use 1 or 2 sprays of a herbicide to control the weeds, organic farmers would have to, by the very fact, utilize things like mulches and plastic covers, which is great, but they would also have to rely on tillage. And if you care about the quality of the soil and the groundwater, and if you give a shit about climate change, then tilling the land is really not the way to go, because every time you till the soil, you release carbon dioxide into the air by degrading the organic matter, which reduces the water holding capacity. So tillage is not a sustainable manner for long-term agriculture sustainability. You want to reduce tillage, you don't want to increase it. So if we all went organic, we'd have to rely on much more tillage, and tillage degrades soil. So that again is an antagonistic type of a thought process. So what's more important is more important to keep the soil healthy on our planet Earth, to reduce tillage, to reduce greenhouse gases, to increase water holding capacity, to increase organic matter? Or is it more important to till the soil and call it organic? Like, what's more important?
Right. Man, okay, this is interesting. Like, you digging into this, I have like a million questions. But so it's, even if it's organic produce or something, they're still using pesticides, but they're using organic pesticides, which may in fact be inferior to non-organic pesticides.
Right. So another example would be Bacillus thuringiensis. Its acronym is BT. Bacillus thuringiensis is a series of proteins, they're bacteria, and you spray these on the crop and it controls Lepidoptera, which are like worm insects in crops like corn, soybeans, and cotton. So you could spray Bacillus thuringiensis, which is an organic insecticide. The problem with it is you have to spray it repeatedly on the crop. So it's not that strong by itself, and it doesn't have a long leaf life. So you're spraying it repeatedly on the crop. Coincidentally, Travis, the BT, the Bacillus thuringiensis, is the same protein the scientists have isolated and clipped out of that organic compound and put into crops like corn, soybean, and cotton. It's called GMO BT, Bacillus thuringiensis, corn, soybean, and cotton. And it's one of the untold success stories of GMOs, is that we don't have to spray insecticide on corn, cotton, and soybeans anymore, because we have an organic BT protein that's been put into the crop to create its own resistance. So we don't use organophosphates or carbamates anymore, indiscriminate insecticides that do kill bees and butterflies indiscriminately. Instead, we've got BT, corn, cotton, soybean, squash, eggplant, and those crops now develop their own insect resistance because the protein is inside of them. But the protein was in fact derived from an organic insecticide.
Wow,
that
that's super cool. That's awesome.
It's very cool.
Man, okay. And then so now my question is are there certain, I guess, inorganic pesticides that are bad for human consumption or have had negative effects for humans? Like, are there instances of that?
Well, yeah, the answer is yes. I mean, if you ingest too much elemental sulfur, it can make you ill. If you ingest any number.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. This is my dog, Murphy, and these are dog treats. Now I'll give Murphy one of these dog treats, and all you have to do is press the like button. Just press that little like button right down there at the bottom of this video, and this sweet, adorable, cute little puppy gets a treat. All thanks to you. All right, you did it? Okay, I believe you if you said you did it. There you go, Murph. She got that treat because of you. Now, I'll eat one of these treats, and all you have to do is click that subscribe button right there, pointing to it. Just click that subscribe button, subscribe to Curiosityness with me, Travis DeRose. Get lots of good video, and I'll eat this treat. All right, you did that too? That's not very good. Bro, not very good.